What'd you say? Where's Suki gone? Where's Suki gone? What are you saying? Huh? What are you saying? What are you saying? Okay, get down. Get down, get down, get down. Hello again, folks. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video. What happens if you're out here and you've retired and you've settled down and everything's going well, and suddenly something happens and it all starts to go wrong? That's what I'm going to talk about today, and I've got a particular story to tell you to just demonstrate how it can go wrong and how it can go badly wrong. Now, this story starts with a friend of mine, actually. He was in the Navy with me, and we were at the Falklands together. And he was a widower. His wife died, and he used to come out to Thailand and have a bit of fun. And eventually he met up, of course, he met a lady, very lovely lady, a very nice lady, actually, a good friend of ours. And he initiated the process of being able to get this lady back to Scotland, where he came from. He lives very close to where I come from in Scotland also. And he started the process to take her back to Scotland and shut her down with her there. Well, she actually worked in a laundry beside a big condominium, and that was her business. She ran the business, and she was doing quite well for herself. And she sort of carried on with that while he was making all the necessary arrangements. And eventually, all the paperwork came together, and he flew in from Scotland. His intention was to have a couple of weeks holiday, book his lady a ticket, and to them to travel back to Scotland together. Super idea, very, very nice. Perfect. So he came in, and the strangest of things, you know, he actually developed, while he was here on holiday, he developed swine flu, H1, blah, 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 I forget the other code for it, but I believe it was called swine flu. And it's something that I wasn't even aware that there was a danger of contracting it here in Thailand, actually. And it caught him, and it hit him very badly, actually. He ended up spending 3 weeks in Bangkok hospital here, the expensive private hospital. He had to pay for it by himself because as he had only came for 2 weeks, he thought, I don't need travel insurance. Wrong. He did need travel insurance. And then consequently, he didn't have any insurance. So he ended up, the bill for that period in Bangkok hospital was over 2 million baht, actually. And eventually, he was bedridden, and it reacted on him very, very quickly. He seemed to lose a lot of his mobility, etc. He couldn't even stand up out of a chair by himself. But eventually the hospital could do no more for him. So his lady, let's call her O, because that was her name, O, she arranged for him to be taken into a care home down near Satahip at Bansaray. Very close to Bansaray, there was this care home by the side of Sukhumvit, the main road going down there. So she transferred him down there, and till hopefully the day would come that he's fit enough for them to travel. And it was a major upset, as you can guess, to their plans. So he was in this care home in near Bansaray, down near Satahip. Lovely area down there, nice coast, very popular with expats. A lot of expats live down there. They've got nice houses and condominiums down there. And when I knew he was down there, then I used to go down with my wife here, and we used to go visit him, just see how he was coming along. and went down there several times. Now, this care home he stayed in, it kind of consisted of maybe about maybe 8 or 10 private rooms, and he was in a private room. And it also had 2 multi-occupational wards, one for ladies and one for men. And I think there was about 12 beds in each of the 2 wards. Now, on my last visit there, I got talking with one of the staff, doctor or nurse, I can't really remember to be truthful, but one of the staff. And they said they'd show me around the facilities, and it was quite impressive actually the way it was set up. At that time, my friend was paying about 70,000 baht a month just for the room. So that's just over 2,000 baht, something like that, a day for his room. And on top of that, there was also medication and care. And so I don't know what the total bill was, but I would imagine it's probably close to 100,000 baht a month, I would think. But this particular staff member I was talking to offered to show me the facilities, and they had a gymnasium and a small pool where they could exercise people in, etc. And she was showing me around, and then we got into she took me into the male ward. There was about 12 beds in there, as I said, and about 8 of those were in use. Now, what surprised me is of the 8 beds that were in use, 3 of those were expats that were in this communal ward, which was obviously much cheaper accommodation than the private rooms. There was 2 Germans, and there was 1 Frenchman. And the rest were Thai people, older Thai people. And that quite surprised me. I don't know why, because I thought the expats would have afforded the private rooms. But anyway, I was obviously wrong. But then talking to the staff member, when she told me there was 2 Germans and 1 Frenchman, she said, but the Frenchman is a bit of a problem. And I said, well, why is he a problem? She said, well, he'd been there for several months, and his mind was not so good. He was dementia. He had a lot of physical problems, and he had also suffering from some sort of mental dementia type illness, that he didn't really know where he was or what he was doing. Very, very sad. And he had been brought in by his wife or girlfriend, I don't know, but his partner anyway, had brought him into the hospital. And she used to visit him about once a week, and it's not far away, and that surprised me also, but everybody's different. And she used to come up about once a week, and she also used to every month come in and pay his bill, until the day that she came in and just gave them an envelope, and in the envelope was the address of the condominium keys, and the balance of it, and some money, which was not even the full balance for what the monthly debt was. And she explained that she had a problem, that his bank balance was now empty, and she didn't know how to transfer, how he transferred money from France to his bank account in Thailand. And she was going to try and get in touch with the French embassy to see if she could get assistance from them, and she would come back to the hospital and let them know what was happening and what she could do. Of course, they did explain to this lady that if they couldn't pay the bills, then if they couldn't pay his fees, then he would have to leave the hospital, the care home. And she understood that. It really did sound a bit of a sad story, but I didn't really give it a much more thought, because very shortly after that, my friend David, he transferred him to a care home up here, actually, not far from where I live, beside Lake Maprakan, what we call the the dark side. here in Pattaya, and she transferred him up here for ease of traveling, because she was having to stay in a hotel and he was staying in the care home, and she was up spending most of every day with him, and it was much easier for traveling. So they moved up here, and I didn't really give much more thought to this French guy down the road in the other care home. Anyway, sadly, very sadly, my good friend David didn't make it, and he actually passed away. And not before they managed to carry out a wedding service, and she ended up officially married to him. And that was done in quite a hurry, so she could have she could make her access to UK easier, and he had property there, etc., that needed somebody to take care of, and she was now his wife, so she had the opportunity to do that. But this swine flu fever actually took toll on him, and he did pass away from it. So that was that, and then I was speaking to her a little bit later, a few weeks after David passed away and after his funeral, etc. And I just said to her, I said, did you ever hear about whatever happened to that French guy in the other care home? She said, oh yes. She said she had a couple of friends, a couple of the staff down there that kept in touch, and they had been keeping her up to date with what had happened to this guy. And what had happened is that they actually, with the help of the police, etc., they actually transferred him from they didn't hear from the lady again. That was number one. They didn't hear from his lady again. And it became a real problem. And with the help of the police, etc., and the care home, they transferred him back down to Sataheep and into his condominium. And the hospital undertook for a certain period to send somebody down each day to give him some medication and just check up on him. And that only went on for about a fortnight. And then, not really sure what the arrangements were then, they told her that they thought the French embassy was going to make some arrangements for his care, etc. But strangely enough, the French embassy never contacted the care home, and so we're not really sure of once the care home withdrew its care and the necessary medication of what was going on then. But the consequence was, after about 5 weeks after he left the care home, he was found dead in his condominium. Very sad. And a very sad way to go, I think. All we really know that when they found him, then the body had to be transferred to Bangkok for an autopsy to determine the cause of death, and that's as much as I know about what happened to this guy in the end. But why am I telling this story now? Well, it makes me reflect on my own circumstances. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not nearly as bad as my friend David was with his swine flu, or this Frenchman, and hopefully I've got all my faculties, and I still have a good bit of mobility. But what it does make me reflect upon is, in my circumstances, is being part of my family, having my family here, living here with my family, with my daughter and my wife, and it makes me appreciate how nice and important it is to have this lovely existence here at home. It also makes me very appreciative of my wife, actually, and I know she worries about me a lot, and she takes care of me a great deal. And I appreciate that, really appreciate it, and it means an awful lot to me. I just often wonder, how many people there are shut away in their little box rooms in the so-called condominiums, the 23 square meters that would drive a lot of people potty, just living in that It's like a small hotel bedroom. That in itself must be depressing. If you can't see anybody, you don't know anybody, and you're not speaking with anyone, and that's got to be depressing. And that's the condominiums I'm talking about here. But it doesn't have to be condominiums. It could be an apartment or a room anywhere. If these people shut themselves away and don't speak with anybody, don't let anybody know their problems, don't think about their own problems, and try to do something about it. What can we do? You know, I know a couple of guys that are older than me. They're in their 80s, and I try to keep myself updated in what's the people I know, the older people I know, what they're getting up to, and we contact each other occasionally, etc. But I'm 100% confident there's a lot of people here in Pattaya and around that are suffering from depression and locked away in rooms, etc. But it's not a Thailand and Pattaya problem. It's a global problem, actually. I mean, we're aware of it. It's a global problem. It's just when you hear the stories and you think about these poor people, it's a very, very sobering thought, isn't it? You know. But what can we do? It's just try to look after each other as best we can. Anyway, enough of that sobering thought and that maybe a little bit depressing video, and I'd apologize for it, but I think it's important to realize what can happen. Thank you very, very much for watching again today, and take care. Speak soon. Bye.